What's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. We are in Warframe. We're going to talk a little bit about the basics of Atlas. Okay, so this is kind of my first build at 30, and I'm going to try to talk to you a little bit about how it's set up and some stuff on it. And of course, as I get farther in and I add more forma, change them up a bit, it'll change, and we'll talk about that obviously further down the road. But so here is Atlas, looking at his abilities. So let's kind of quickly talk about it. And with Landslide, you can see that you're going to bash enemies with the explosive sliding punch, repeat for devastating combos. So what's involved here is you're going to be looking at strength, obviously, for damage. You're going to look at the radius from looking here. It's this ability radius. And then the window to actually chain combo is going to be based off of your duration. Really, Ordis? I forgot to turn them off. I'm sorry. So we're looking at power strength, power range, power duration to affect this ability. And it's a good ability to have. But that's I mean, you could do power efficiency as well. I mean, obviously, the more efficient it is, basically what happens is the more you cast it for your combo, the less energy it costs. I generally only combo it once to twice, but that's just my personal preference at this time anyway. Then we have the tectonics, which is the rock wall. Okay, and what you got here, you've got a few different things going on. In terms of, obviously, we have damage. So power strength is going to affect your damage as well as the health. And the rolling or the explosion damage are all going to be affected by power strength for this. Okay, sorry about my voice, guys. So power strength is very important, and of course power strength in this build is very important. The boulder explosion range is obviously affected by the range, and you can see that just looking at this. I need damage, I need strength. Health is affected by strength, damage is affected by strength. Obviously, so just looking at it, we don't even have to worry about like getting too detailed. Obviously, you could probably cast natural talent to bring down the animations on this. Okay, but this one's a very good one to have as well. I'm not going to give you full details on that yet. Then we're going to talk about petrify. Okay, the stone rate is going to be affected by the strength. The petrified duration is going to be affected by duration, obviously. And then we're going to have the cone length, which is affected by power range. Okay, obviously, if you want to really utilize this, you're going to probably want to go with some definite power efficiencies because it is an energy drain. It will energy drain 3 energy per second. So the more efficient you are, better off it is. For petrify, I don't really utilize this very much. To me, since it takes away from your movement, takes away from you being able to use your weapons, so forth and so on, it actually is not really working well for me. In a team group, when you're with a group of guys, or teammates, clan members, whatever you want to call them, this is going to work out really well because you can petrify enemies and they can go in and kill them for you. So team-based, it's great. Solo, it's not so great. So think about that depending upon how you want to build. Okay, and then we're going to talk here about the rumblers, which are just awesome. They're so much fun. It summons 2 elemental stone rumblers for melee, basically. Again, we're going to have a couple things here based off of power strength. So the size of the rumblers, the health, your attack damage, and your explosion damage are all going to be affected by power strength. So power strength is very important in the build. Now, power range is actually going to affect the movement speed of your rumblers. So if you put power range on, they're actually going to get faster. They'll move around faster, kill things, and then move fast to the next enemy, so forth and so on. Okay, so that's important as well. So really, when we're looking at this build, our most important things are going to be range. Strength is absolutely the most important thing. Then range, So sorry. And then, of course, duration on here as well. Efficiency, if you can fit it in there properly, great. If you can't, just don't go negative on the efficiency. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so that kind of talks about where these are at. We'll come back to view the new stats with the mods. Okay, so let's just quickly go over to the mods. I'm sorry, there's no gameplay right now, but you guys know me. We're definitely going to have more. It's just I wanted to kind of sit here and explain it all to you. So, I know Ortis. Yeah, haha. So what we're looking at here, Atlas, this is my basic setup, of course. He has the second highest base armor now, next to Valkyr. Valkyr has 600 base armor, he has 450. Okay, I'm going to keep it with Steel Charge because both his first ability is a melee ability, and it does count for attack, for the melee counter. And second, I'm going to utilize a lot of melee with him just because of his power, because of how strong he is and how he works. Okay, so for me, I've got Prime Continuity, Prime Flow. This is giving me a lot of health, or a lot of energy, I should say. So it's a nice power pool of 600. The Prime Continuity would normally give me 50% duration, but we're taking it down because of Transient Fortitude on the other end. Stretch is giving me my range that we talked about. Intensify with Transient Fortitude is giving me 170% strength, so an extra 70% strength right now. Yes, I lose 20% in the duration. In future builds, this is probably going to change around a bit. Of course, this is just a basic setup, like I said. We are going to utilize Armored Agility, Vitality, and Steel Fiber. All three of these to give us this beautiful armor, along with a nice solid health pool as well. Maxing this up a little bit more. I've got 2 more to go to fully max it. So you can see this will probably get us over 1200 armor plus the 740 health. So beautiful, beautiful. Great for meleeing. Okay, but it's really basic, to be honest. And this thing has been working out well for me so far, wherever I take it. And like I said, I really enjoy it as a melee. Now, with that said, you're going to ask me about Exilus slots. So, there's a couple of nice things here. Now, because he is immune to knockdown, okay, as his passive, we don't need to use the sure-footed mod that I would usually use. I was running with Mobilize, okay, and Mobilize is perfect in terms of the new mods in that slot, and that's probably what I'll run later on. But also keep in mind, you got a couple other nice options you could put in here. Okay, let me find it. You could put Retribution in here if you are running melee, because if you get struck by another, enemy that comes up to you with a melee, they could get back the electrical damage. But if we're talking about the new mods, so Mobilize, these new mods like Piercing Step would fit in here beautifully. Toxic Flight could even fit in there pretty well, and even Ice Spring. And the reason being, if you're thinking about your first ability with him, okay, if you jump in the air and hit your first ability, it's going to target, an enemy that you're going to basically go to knock down, and you're going to have, the extra little bit of damage that comes up behind it, okay, for Ice Spring and Toxic Flight and even Piercing Step. So, the 10%, I think that's puncture damage. You've got the toxic or the gas, the toxin damage, and here you've got ice damage. They're kind of cool to have on here too if you think about it based off of how you play it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And they really, if you, like I say, you jump in the air and you hit Landslide, your #1 ability, you're gonna have that come up behind you. So it's really effective. Now, looking at the stats with the mods, this is where we're sitting at with that change. So as you can see, we got a radius of 2.17. We got a combo window of 1.3 seconds with a 680 base damage on it. Okay, Tectonics, we've got up to the damage of 1020. Okay, when we roll it. The explosion damage is going to be 850 with an explosion range of 7.25 and a beautiful, beautiful health pool of 2550 that will keep you safe for a nice little period of time. It's no frost, but this rock wall is going to be good enough to help you basically. Petrify, we're looking at 2.31 energy per second instead of 3, because right now I do have a little bit of power efficiency on there. Field of view 60, power range 20.3 meters, so we're going to get a lot of range on this in terms of petrifying enemies. Stone duration is 26 seconds, 1 stone rate. Okay, and then the range, or the rumblers here, as you can see, base damage is 850, explosion damage is 2125, explosion range is 8.7. This explosion, though, in order to do the explosion damage, you must toggle off the ability. Okay, keep that in mind. When you toggle the ability is when they will explode. If you do not toggle it and let it run to the end, they just disappear. Okay, beautiful little health pool here of 2040. So they'll survive for a little while. 39-second duration for me with a 1.45 speed multiplier based off of the range mod again. So this is where we sit with our basics. If you have any comments or questions, please do feel free to them below. As I said, I'm going to keep playing with him for a while to get him set up to a more advanced setup where we're going to utilize different things, you know, to get more power strength, lose some efficiency, that type of stuff, till I really get it dialed in. But comments, questions below. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys next episode. Thanks for watching as always. We'll see you soon.